Good evening, everyone. Shirley here. The mission of today is to work on Blood of the Enemy Rank 2. Now, the 8.2 is out, where you have a reason to do daily battlegrounds and farm honor again. So I wanted to make this video today to talk about PvP, some arms in general, the patch, just, my thoughts, the whole shebang. And we got the Seething Shore to start things off. I'm running the Crucible of Flame for this one, as well as Rend because it got buffed. Obviously, Execute got buffed at the same time, so, if I was running Massacre still, it'd still be pretty good. But I wanted to try Rend for this battleground here. So far, I'm really enjoying Crucible of Flame. I have, let's see here, that many traits, or whatever they're called, essences, unlocked thus far. Where do we need to be? Right here, I suppose. Let's get this healed down. But for PvP at the moment, until I get some extra ranks on some of these things, Crucible of Flame is actually pretty nice, having a ranged kind of fireball you can just launch at people. And the third ranked version of it actually hits, pretty hard in PvP. Does more damage than an Execute half the time, or most of the time, rather. It's not buffed by Colossus Smash or anything. Are we gonna live to this Demon Hunter? That is the question. Let's go ahead and bob over here. Use the Crucible to heal myself a little bit. I like that extra bit of utility that it offers. Oh, he's got wings from the priest. That's not good. Cool. Managed to get him there. Might die to dots, though. Probably gonna die to dots. Oh, I think the rogue didn't notice. This guy instantly came back, or is that a different Demon Hunter? I can't tell. Got him. Wow. That was close. So, Arms is feeling pretty good, actually. I didn't think that the 5% buff, or 6% rather, would have made that much of a difference. Maybe it's because I haven't been doing a ton of PvP and it's been a while, but so far, it's feeling pretty solid. The Mastery buff to Deep Wounds, however, I notice a lot more out in the world, doing all the Najtar stuff and World Quests and Mythic Plus at the moment, especially Mythic Plus. In PvP, it's still gimped, so it's only doing 12,000-ish damage right now, so it's not quite as noticeable as it was in PvE, but, it is what it is. But the general damage buff on Moral Strike feels pretty good. And even Rend, the little bit I've used it in the few arenas I've done, seems pretty good. Haven't really done any, I think it's the first battleground I've done trying Rend out, but in arena it seemed alright. I like Rend in arena quite a bit anyway, so any excuse to use it. Oh my god, this guy's so tanky. Priest got a bit of a buff too, which is nice. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to mention with my current toolkit. Can we get it? Gotta get away from this Archangel here. Go ahead and use my Crucible to heal myself again. I need to remember to use that thing on cooldown more often. It's so weird as a warrior using a ranged spell like that every 30 seconds. But on top of all this, oh, the rogue. Looks like I'm not gonna make it out of this one. Or are we? He's hitting the moon for some reason. Kidney. He's got evasion up. We're just gonna kite for a second here while he's got evasion up. If you have a Grong's Primal Rage, this trinket here on my bar, it got buffed massively from the patch. And it does a ton of damage now, and it's actually kind of hilarious in PvP if you can get somebody alone. What I would do is get a Mortal Strike on him, and then Stormbolt him, and then you get most of the duration of the channel off within that Stormbolt pretty easy. And it does 125k right now, and it's not nerfed in PvP. I don't know if Blizzard plans on gimping that at some point, but currently it does pretty damn good damage. Let's see if I can get this Demon Hunter a little bit here. Oh, you gripped him. Or whatever, we're gonna use it anyway. Yeah, it's hitting for like 13k a tick, and it can crit, obviously. It's kind of silly how much damage it can actually do in a 4-second burst. I don't know if you'd really use it in, higher rated arena or anything, because it is a bit cheesy and it cleaves off of targets, but for right now, it's a lot of fun to actually try and use. Speaking of fun, the Crucible of Flame, actually being able to snipe targets that are, you know, at 10-ish% health at 40 yards is really, really funny. I don't know, I like being able to execute something that far away. It reminds me of old Heroic Throw from, like, Wrath, when it actually did damage. And it's definitely a nice addition to have. I did try Blood of the Enemy rank 1 version of it anyway, a little bit in PvP so far, and it doesn't seem bad for, like, you know, big team fights when you're just going to be jumping in like this and leaving everybody down. But, oh, I missed my shot. Might get him anyway. Yeah, doesn't like it. Doesn't make out of this one, though. Buy some time for the rest of our team to maybe get on that. But, yeah, it reminds me of old Heroic Throw, and Blood of the Enemy right now, the reason why we're doing all this is to get to rank 2 and eventually rank 3, which requires you to farm out 15,000 honor for rank 2, and I believe 50,000 for rank 3, and that'll definitely increase its potency quite a bit. Right now, the cooldown's a little bit too long to set up, you know, consistently for PvP. I did do a Mythic Plus the other day. I think it was 11, and Blood of the Enemy seems really good right now with Reaping. It's a shame that Reaping is going away in a couple of weeks because it's really strong, as you might guess, with Warbreaker and Bladestorm, especially if you're running Gathering Storm and Lord of War still. Go ahead and let my buddy here grab this Paladin. I run blocker for him. But at the moment, without the crit amplification and the cooldown reduction on it, it's a little weak, so Concentrated Flame is what I'm running for right now. I'm looking forward to getting rank 2 of that as well. Other than that, the other one that really was coming up is Memory of the Lucid Dreams here, which is the 2-minute cooldown that gives you 100% additional rage generation and the passive proc to refund rage. Super useful. I think it's going to be pretty dang good on any single target fight. Just going to spin this, probably going to die here. Super useful on any single target fight coming up in the new raid because of that rage buff is going to synergize so well with Test of Might on your Azerite gear. So not only is the cooldown going to synergize, but the passive as well. All that rage refund is going to obviously give you a bigger strength buff, but it's also going to make your Warbreaker come back up even faster because of anger management, because of all the free rage, which means that we might end up using Fervor of Battle again, even though Whirlwind didn't get buffed, but Slam did. So just to get that consistent rage spent all the time, we might end up using Fervor again on some of these fights coming up. That being said, Massacre is still going to be insane, so for certain fights, if we have anything like Jaina, where it's really a intense execute phase, where you really gotta crank out the damage at the very end, then you'd probably run Massacre anyway to sacrifice some throughput throughout the fight, because with Massacre, or without, just the execute phase in general coming up for, let's go ahead and use the Trinket again on this Warlock here, so we can get him for 20k crits on this Trinket. Thing is insane. Go ahead and shrink that. Sharpen on him in case somebody shows up. But yeah, in case we have any really intense execute fights coming up, the strength buff with that essence is going to be just absurd during the execute phase, especially if we can spec into collateral damage again, like we did on Jaina, and get extra rage refund. It basically will let us spam 40 rage executes for the entire 10-second duration, which is going to be just absurd. Sharpen on him to secure the deal there. Go ahead and heal myself with that. Probably kite away from this. Ooh, hello, Zerber buff. But yeah, I was hitting a target dummy, and above, you know, at 100%, you're getting like a 6.6-ish K, 6.6 to 7,000 strength buff with Fervor of Battle talented right now. Just throughout the entire fight, you will be able to do that with the Memory of the Lucid Dreams cooldown. And obviously, it's a little bit fluctuating depending on what kind of passives you have. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Dodge the Crucible? I don't know. Probably not, I'm guessing. Okay. Stormbolt, or Bladestorm the Stormbolt there. Ugh, blur. All that here. Maybe my bleed will get him. Ah, Ren fell off, though. Anyway, so, yeah, there's going to be some fluctuation between it, but 7,000 strength, you know, every 2 minutes. I think the next strength lowers a cooldown, yeah. No. Makes the duration... Oh, okay. I wonder if they changed that. I thought on the PTR that did something different, but... Oh, right, they buffed it, because it was a 3-minute cooldown, and now it's a 2-minute cooldown. So yeah, every 2 minutes we'll be able to do that, which lines up nice with CS for the most part. But during the execute phase, I think that thing is going to be just hilarious. I can't wait to try it. Rend on this guy. Get that on him. This is a Resto Shaman. It'd be a shame if somebody were to Grong's Primal Rage you. Oh, he was DR'd on stuns, though. That's unfortunate. Fortunately, you gotta just cancel the channel there. I've got a cancel aura in my charge to do that for Bladestorm and trinkets and whatnot. The downside of using the meme trinket at the moment, but it is a lot of fun just to set up if you get any opportunities to really chunk somebody with it. Let's go ahead and get some sweeping strikes up here on these guys. The double rend. Rend is actually not too bad in PvE at the moment too, especially if you get some nice weed fights where you can do this and set it up on multiple targets. It is a bit finicky to use, not because I dislike using it or I think it's finicky in PvP, but particularly in PvE because of this Skull Splitter. I think, ironically, you have so many buttons on hand as arms. It's not, you know, hard, I guess. It's just a little convoluted maintaining Rend and Skull Splitter since the cooldown changes on Skull Splitter depending on your haste values that time, which, you know, fluctuate between Bloodlust and Warbreaker having in for the kill and all that. So the trade-off and the management of it isn't really worth it, I'd say. Maybe that'll change, you know, with the new buff. I guess I haven't, you know, tried it in any of the new raids, or the new raid yet. So maybe that'll change and I'll try out Rend more in PvE. But at the moment, it just doesn't really seem worth the investment. But it is fun, you know, if you want to give it a go. I would definitely say it's worth it, you know, trying it out if anybody's interested in it in the first place. But Massacre is just so fire and forget. You don't have to think about anything, and it just works all the time. There's no silly maintenance, and especially if you're running Test of Might, managing your rage, you know, not only within the Colossus Smash window, but also with outside of it, can be a little bit challenging because you want to, you know, spend as much rage in the window as possible, but Rend costs so much that it makes the spec very clunky because you always want to have 100% uptime on the buff, but you also want to spend so much rage within Colossus Smash, so you can find these situations where you'll exit the window and Rend's about to fall, and you can't really top it off, but there you go. We actually won that one. Got second place for killing blows. And how we do for damage? Top damage. So, yeah, I mean, Rend's seeming pretty good. It's doing, wow. In that last fight, anyway, it was about 12% of my damage according to details. Not too bad. Anyway, what do you guys think about 8.2 so far and Warriors in general? Let me know down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.